Welcome, everybody, to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. My name is Matt, and this is Cody.
Hi, guys.
And today's episode, we're going to be talking about kick-ass females in the horror genre. By the way, it's episode 3. I should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah, you know.
But we're not the only ones here today. We have a special guest. Her name is
Eryn. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Eryn works on Ep.3 Paranormal on YouTube, and they have a Facebook as well. She's also a Colorado-based native, and so is Ep.3 Paranormal. And we love their group. They're extremely awesome. They're fun to watch, very entertaining, and we're really excited to have her on today. Do you want to say anything, Eryn?
Hey! Yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about women in my favorite genre of anything ever. Oh, God. I'm in the wrong podcast. Get me out of here.
Gotta love that Ryan Gosling.
No.
So before we got a lot to talk about today, so we're gonna try to cut down the banter as much as we can.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know, right? I have ADHD, so isn't.
You're talking about two guys who love to hear each other talk. So
I was really thinking about sharing my Hitler story.
That's not
How like my teacher thought I was a skinhead because of my Hitler comment.
Oh no!
But I'm just like, no wait, I hate Hitler. Like I just like
I was joking.
I was kidding.
No. Do you want to hear the story?
I kind of
Yeah,
do.
Let's do it.
All right, so it was my first.
We've talked about some guy who knew. Was it Ed Gein?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It was the dealer at the car dealership.
Ed Gein.
No, it's Ed Gein.
It's Ed Gein.
Oh, that's Zach. That's not how Zach Bagans says it.
Well, Zach Bagans has a weird talking voice.
fight
I love
him.
you, Zach Bagans. If you're listening to this, I love you.
If he knows like we exist.
Yeah.
I'll
Maybe
make
one
sure.
day.
Good.
Yeah.
We need
One
the
day.
exposure. Yeah, so my whole story is basically, it was when I went back to college. It was during my first term. Like, we were about to finish. Like,
It's just snorting.
do you
over
mind,
there.
Mercedes? It's just,
This is my food.
no, so it was during my first class in my first term, and like finals were coming up. And it was that kind of classroom that was like had a sarcastic feel to it.
Yeah.
So like the teacher was like, "Finals coming up. Does anybody have any questions?" A guy in the back was just like, "Yeah, what are the questions gonna be like on it?" And she was like, "It's gonna be like hell." And for some reason, like I was just like, "Haha, that's every Tuesday for me." And she's just like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live in hell on Tuesdays. I say hi to like Hitler all the time."
Oh no.
And then like. How I meant it was like to shove it in Hitler's face, but this is how it came off. I was like, "Yeah, man." I'm just like, "What's up, Hitler? The Jews are still around. They're still up there walking around."
I mean, Walt Disney still got your back, but
And it totally didn't come off like, "Take that, Hitler." It was just like, "Yeah, the Jews are still walking around."
Hitler's my bro. Kind of
So
thing.
then, like,
fist bump every
like
night.
all the noise of the class came to an immediate stop, and my teacher was just staring at me, and I'm just like,
Let's move on.
And so she's just like, so she giggles back at me. She's like, like nervously, and I'm like, "I gotta go to the bathroom now." I just in the bathroom, staring at the mirror. I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you keep talking?"
I would have dropped the class. And then, like, I'll be back next semester with a different group.
You should have just came back to class the next day with a shaved head, just to like.
I said that joke with a shaved head.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That makes it so much worse.
It makes it unbelievably worse. I'm like, I swear I can explain.
I don't like Hitler.
This isn't me, guys.
It didn't help that I had a teacher who was Jewish.
Oh no! God, does this get worse and worse?
No, this is a separate teacher,
Oh, okay.
but it does get worse. And like she was showing us like how to use this computer program where you can make 3D models of buildings.
Okay.
And so like you walk through the building on the program to like that's just how it is. That just shows the inside of the building. And there was like a family and like these two kids at the top of these stairs playing. And like some guy's like, "Yeah, can I make my kids black?" Because he's black. And so everybody's like, "Oh, ha 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 ha." Like, it was funny, right? It was humorous. And I'm like, "Yeah, can I make mine Jewish?" I didn't know my teacher was Jewish, so keep this in mind. And she's like, "How would you do that?" And like, I should have stopped and just not responded. What I said, though, was, you know, with, like, the nose and the hair. And she's like, you just give us a yarmulke. And I was like, us? I was like, oh, God.
So you should have lied and been like, I'm totally Jewish.
Yeah, I'm actually
I can make that joke.
Jewish.
Yeah, I'm one of you.
We're friends.
Yeah, we're allowed to say those jokes.
Ever since then, every time I see her, I'm just like super nice and kiss assy to her. I'm like, you look really nice today.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful with your nose and
your nose looks so small.
You talk, Kate.
It's so small today.
Not a curl anywhere.
Oh my God.
We just lost all of our Jewish listeners.
No, just whatever. Okay. My stepdad's Jewish. I could say those jokes.
Let me say this. I don't hate anybody except for everybody, so...
I don't hate anyone, just everyone. Alright?
I hate pretty much everybody.
Yeah. I don't care what you look like, I just don't like you.
At my wedding, the priest was like, do you take her to be a wife? I'm like, I guess.
Sure.
Why not? I mean,
whatever.
What do I have to lose?
Be better if she was a pug, but...
What is it, sweetie? You want to go potty? Okay, you can go potty. Here. Oh. Do you want to say hi to everybody? You got scared? Do you want to say hi to everybody?
How come you got scared?
It's the stage. She's not scared. She has like toys everywhere.
Oh, I was gonna say, is there a ghost? Do you need code 3 to come over?
I wish. I actually thought about it. I was like, I wonder if I could lie wait to them to coming over here.
Everyone shows up like, it's not haunted. I just want to hang out. I
have Cody in the background with a sheet over his head. Just
be careful, we've got a cop on the team, guys.
He just like moved some pottery.
Dude, I can't wear the sheet. He'll like take it off and like, oh my God, he's an anti-Semite.
They'll let you paint your face black.
Yep.
All right, now we've lost everybody.
Now podcast is dead.
So
good run, guys.
Speaking of Code 3 Paranormal, how did you get started on that?
I mean, that's the whole thing. I've always been obsessed with, like, ghosts and paranormal. And, like, when I was little, I'd read books about, like, all sorts of ghost stories. And, you know, like, in the recent years, probably the last decade, it's become kind of, like, popular. Like, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, which is way better than Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, Ghost
Hunters.
Throwing that shade.
Messaging. I'll throw shade all day. It's all about Zach Bagans.
Sorry, everybody. My daughter is walking through. She had to go use the bathroom because she's a big girl, right?
Slowly shuts the door.
We'll come grab you in a second, okay?
But yeah, no. So I just started messaging a bunch of groups on Facebook, like, please let me join.
I just want to do it.
And so they saw like your message, and they're just like, we'll give you a shot, or
yeah, they it was actually one of the founding members, Mackie, who's a jerk, but I love him. And he's like, yeah, come like kind of do like a test hunt and kind of see like if we all mesh, and we did, and then it's kind of gone from there. And I've taken over because all of them are like married with kids, and I'm like single with no life, so I'm like, I can do all this. I'm like, I'll do the YouTube channel, I'll get the videos, and Mackie does the filming, so we kind of started building on that instead of just doing...
Right.
And we usually don't... We've done a few residences, but a lot of times people do lie. We had some crackheads that said that a ghost was lighting stuff on fire.
Oh,
and
wow.
one of them lit a fire while we were there.
Oh my God.
And I was like...
He's not going to see these guys.
I know, she went to the bathroom and then, like, walked back out, and then, like, 2 seconds later, she's like, what is that smell? Oh my God, it's on fire!
It's on fire, the ghost is here!
She's like, oh, it happened right when you went to the bathroom. Okay, I see you.
I got you.
So we didn't let them out of our sight for the rest of the night. Like, even when they went to the bathroom, like, we'd kind of, like...
Yes. Oh, you gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna follow you.
I'm gonna stand right here.
Buddy system, alright? It's the whole buddy system thing.
You don't want to get lit on fire.
Yeah, if there's a ghost lighting fires, you personally don't want to get lit on fire. No, I'm alright. You won't light people on fire.
Won't light me on fire because I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
Well, sure enough, when we didn't let them out of our sight, the rest of the night there wasn't another fire. And we drove actually really far for that one.
Oh, really? Where'd you go for that one?
I forget, but it was in the middle of nowhere. It was like an hour and a half up. Like, I think on the way towards Lyman. I don't know. I don't know where I am most of the time.
Just like, I'm here, and now I'm here.
And I'm following the GPS.
Gotta love that Google.
I don't know how people like function without it.
Meth.
Lots of
meth.
We went up to one place in Lyman, and my GPS stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. It's called like the Wonder Tower. It's like an old tourist attraction, where you could see all 4 states. You could not like that.
I can see all 4 states.
You could see
Colorado.
grass.
There's Colorado.
So
pretty soon that's Colorado.
So the biggest frustration for you guys is crackheads, then.
Yes.
You just said that so exactly. Yes.
Crackheads and flaky. We've had a few people that'll like schedule us for an investigation and then call like the day of and be like, "Oh, we can't make it," or like we have to reschedule. We had one lady reschedule 4 times and then we never heard from her again.
Because she never got her satin sheets to wear.
So which one has been your favorite so far? Or do you have any ones that are coming up that you're super excited for?
We're trying to finish up the rest of our audio from a previous residence, which was really crazy. That one was someone got scratched. Like I watched it. Like the guy didn't touch his neck and
what?
Yeah, and I have pictures which you can't see on the podcast, but it was like 3 scratch marks. It was some like. Zach Bagans was there, he would have been like, "It's mocking the Holy Trinity." I don't believe that, but you know.
If I was there, I'd just
throws
like
down crosses.
myself. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Brings out a super soaker of holy water.
The power of Christ compels you.
That was cool. But I don't have anything coming up yet because we don't want to get too backlogged with evidence because that's the most tedious part is like 4 or 5 hours of audio and then another 4 or 5 hours of video. And like we have 2 cameras, 3 recorders.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
And so you probably have to go through and like figure out what is a legitimate thing and what isn't.
That's the other hardest part because like people forget sometimes that especially like if it's not one of the team members and it's like the owner of the place and they'll whisper something or they'll like so you're like
what was that?
Oh no. Damn it, Janet.
Is this ghost frustrated?
Repeat that. But we caught the best one so far. I think has been the Phoenix Gold Mine.
Yeah, I saw that was actually the one I watched when I saw your channel on YouTube.
That one was really fun, and like being able to go like 100 feet underground and like catching my first EVP there, like which I know was legit because it's on my recorder, and nobody was 100 feet underground with us. There's no noise contamination.
Like this is mine and it's real.
I did not mess with it.
There's no size on this, okay?
And the Ghost Adventures investigated there too, so.
Oh. So you guys did it better then.
We did, and we exposed the lie that was told on the show.
Oh, what was the... do you want to share the lie?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. As long as you're comfortable.
Oh, yeah, no. I love you, Zach. Don't forget that.
Right, shut this in my face, Zach.
We'll fight him, it's okay.
Basically, and it wasn't even them that lied. It was a previous tour guide in the mine. Mm-hmm. Kind of made up this whole story about Uncle Ray performing black magic. In the mines and all that, and kind of really made it dramatic. Mm-hmm. And we talked to all the people that knew Ray, and they're like, "That's not true. Like that at all. That his remains are in the mine, but he was never."
So they said it for viewership.
Well, but it wasn't them that lied. It wasn't. It was the tour guide that wanted his 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, it's gonna be this up. None shabai."
Yeah. Well, and then of course, like Zach and Eryn and all them are like, "Oh, perfect story, like black magic," and that does get viewership.
So wait, did they even call the tour guide out on it, or they just went with it?
Well, they didn't figure out that the tour guide had lied until the episode had aired, and I mean that's months after filming. And they fired him. They fired the tour guide.
Nice, good.
Yeah, and I feel bad because the poor guy sounds like he was actually a really decent guy. It wasn't some sort of evil magician.
He just made one wrong mistake.
Yeah.
Well,
not the tour guide. I mean the guy that was
the tour guide.
I thought you were talking. I was like,
oh yeah, no.
I was getting so confused. I was like, I thought we were about to hate this guy.
No, we do.
Now I feel like a jerk for being the one that hates this guy.
No, I don't hate the tour guide anymore, I guess. Fine.
No, just
I guess
Ray.
I can't hate
just
it now.
Ray we don't hate.
Okay. The dead guy we don't hate.
Yeah, the dead guy was cool.
So if people want, your help, do you put them through like an interview process before you go help them to see if they're legit, or do you just take their word?
So far, we have just kind of taken people's word. Like, obviously, like, they call and I'll talk to them or Mackie will talk to them, or Tracy, and we'll figure out, like, do they sound like nutbags? And, I mean, even the crackheads, we were like, they're probably nuts, but what if this is real? Like,
right.
You guys have seen the movies where nobody believes them and that shit's really happening. So I'm like, well, let's just go check it out.
Let's do it anyways.
Yeah.
Come on.
But we have it's nice because Mackie, since he's a police officer, like, we're, I guess, sort of protected. Like, if they're, like, creepy, scary people.
No, yeah, you don't know what you're getting into. I mean, we didn't know if you were going to come kill us today.
Not today. Not today.
Okay,
you have a cute dog. You're good.
Sure, still the bug at her.
In the cute.
That's why she ran up to you when you came through. She's like, I'll check her out.
Ocular pat down. Alright, she's good.
Where's Snorty next door? Oh, I see her.
Snorty's over there.
She's just staring.
She's judgmental. She's been through a lot. She can make those judges calls.
I love her, though.
She has to do an ocular pat down.
She's too great.
Person.
So then, if people want your help, where would they go to reach out to you guys?
I mean, the best way is either through Facebook, which is just under, Code 3 Paranormal. But, yeah, that's pretty much the best way.
Okay.
It's just because we're always active on Facebook, and we get the messages right away, and we have email as well. But
yeah, and we'll include your guys' name in the link in the description on this episode if everybody wants to check them out. Again, it's Code 3 Paranormal, and what is it on YouTube?
Just Code 3 Paranormal.
Code 3 Paranormal. Okay. Yeah, we're really excited to finally see some, obviously us and you guys coming out of Colorado, more horror groups that are finally coming out of this town that isn't, the Fray.
Yeah, please, no thank you.
Had to save a life.
Watch a horror movie, that's how.
Yeah, basically. Don't do what the blonde white bitch does.
Yeah.
No tripping.
No tripping.
Bitches I don't know. Tripping all the time, but
if you're running away from a serial killer, take your fucking heels off, like Jesus Christ.
And look forward.
Yeah.
Don't look behind you.
Yeah, look me. Oh my God, tree.
So before we continue on, is there any final words you want to put on Code 3 or add anything in?
Well, definitely. I mean, we're trying to get ourselves out there a little more, so go subscribe on YouTube. I mean, it's so hard with Facebook and the algorithms, and half the time we don't show up in anybody's feed unless we pay for it, which I hate that idea.
We learned this now.
Yeah, like I said, we'll put your guys' link in the description to help you out. So.
Oh, of course, but it sucks because even when people like our page, it doesn't do anything. So the best way is just through YouTube, because that's where we keep everything updated, and I'm hoping that that's where
Zach will find you.
That's
You consider doing a Twitter.
I thought about doing. I hate Twitter.
Or even Instagram.
We have an Instagram too.
I'm really bad at Twitter. Like, I don't know what to post on there. Like, because I
would say for us right now, our biggest thing is because we don't have a whole lot of content, so it's like hard to put things on Instagram and Twitter. And then also since
that's why when I get super excited,
do you live for Collins?
I do.
Oh jeez.
That's why I get super excited when a holiday comes up, because then I can just say like, "Merry Christmas from all of us." We got anything for you? Yeah, we're working on it. But
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Funny enough, by Happy Thanksgiving, everyone got like more likes and retweets than when I was like, "We're working on episodes for everybody."
Well, it's because everyone who follows us is like, you know what? It's not Christmas time. It's Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm tired of seeing all this Christmas shit in the stores in fucking October.
Yep.
Oh my God. I don't care. Santa can go away until December.
No, just forever.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm more of Krampus. Krampus. He's my guy.
So let's go ahead and move on to what this episode is about. If you guys don't already know, we'll say it again. We're talking about female stereotypes and roles in the horror community and genre. And me and Cody feel personally that we see more strong female roles portrayed. Obviously, you see them in sci-fi and fantasy movies as well. Some might even say rom-coms. But I feel like from just my personal opinion, I feel like you see more respectable, strong female roles. My favorite that I can think about is Silent Hill. That's probably my favorite female led movie. That's my favorite one. Then Alien. The whole Alien franchise.
Ripley's a BAMF. She could cradle me every night. I wouldn't care.
I just want to be Sigourney Weaver's friend.
I wouldn't mind.
Oh my god!
Have some dinner with her.
Yep. Oh, I wanted to know. It'd be like badass. She's like a huge partier and stuff like that. She's like, I would drink you under the table. I bet you will.
You guys like cocaine?
Do you even drink, bro? Sorry, Sigourney.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about these stereotypes, and we interviewed some women who are horror fans as well to get their input as well, and their stance on this issue. We interviewed a lot. If you didn't make it into this episode, don't take it personally, but we had to cut down from all the responses that we got. So
yeah,
if you guys want to hear all the responses, then we'll figure something out, but we're just going to stick with what we have for now.
Yeah.
I made it.
So...
No, you're just here. We're not going to read yourself.
Well, yeah, no. I'll read my own off from my head.
No, we don't want that either.
It's happening.
So before we get to the women we interviewed, that's actually how we found out about Eryn, is that she was recommended to me from a mutual friend on this issue, and that's why she's here today to touch on this issue. So, Eryn, how do you feel about women in horror?
I'm going to come out and say I'm not like a huge crazy feminist. Like one of the people that's like, you know. I mean, I'm all for equal rights, but I'm not like, there's not enough strong women. You made her look like a... some women are bimbos.
We didn't assume your gender, did we?
If you did, that was rude. Do not assume my gender. We're real.
I identify...
Triggered!
I identify as a duck in a pond.
But no, I think there's a lot of, I agree with you guys, there's a lot of strong female roles. Even, you could spin it in some of the older horror movies, even from when, the 60s, 70s, 80s, when the New Age feminism wasn't such a big deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the bimbos sometimes can be kind of, they can do a little bit of a turnaround.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that we've always seen, the most... argument that people make, especially females, is that how women are dressed scantily clad or made to have their butts hanging out and boobs hanging out in order to be appealing as a hero. Do you feel like that's true? I mean, or what's your stance on that? Because there's also the opposite side of that where I've seen where it's being proud of your body and being proud that you have these curves and you have what God gave you. And that's the opposite argument to that. And so I can see from both ends, but I mean, we're only guys.
We don't got those.
Only men.
It's not like when Magic Mike came out. I was like, that speaks to me. Channing Tatum with his shirt off. I get it.
Oh, I do. I get it real good.
I don't get it.
What's it doing for you?
Yeah, I don't. What is this?
But do you feel like their bodies play a role?
I definitely see both sides of it, because sometimes it is frustrating because it's like, oh, here's another gorgeous, tall, thin,
a Kate Beckinsale
to the face.
But I think that might be people's insecurities almost, because I don't think that should necessarily matter, because if she's a badass, who cares if she's short and crazy or short and stout, or if she's tall and gorgeous,
as long as she's not as long as her body isn't the thing that's making her stand out in the movie.
Which sometimes it totally happens.
Yeah.
But I think that it shouldn't be as important. I think people put too much focus on that.
Right.
And kind of use that as a reason to be like, well, they're exploiting women because look at how they're dressed. And
instead of the actions of what they do in the movie.
Yeah. And we're women. We're all a little skanky sometimes.
Me too.
We're all admitting it.
I mean, I'm a lot, so it's not a good night till things get weird.
So then, for you, what's your perfect idea of the perfect strong female role, or one that really stuck out to you growing up that meant a lot to you?
I've always really loved Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was my thing.
I just absolutely love her because. Obviously in the first one, the whole scene when she's doing all the booby traps, and I just think that's so cool because she goes from just pretty high school girl, and then all of a sudden she's Rambo up in the house.
So I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
Which some cool interesting facts that actually I looked up Nancy for this episode.
Oh, really?
The character, yeah. So the scene in the movie A Nightmare on Elm Street where she's talking in the phone and it's a mouth
the tongue comes out.
Yeah. She actually took that prop home with her and nobody knows why. That she legitimately did.
I'm gonna have some fun with this.
I mean.
Yeah, no, I guess like the effects team reported that she took it at home, and they just thought it was unusual. And I was like, I get it. I would have done the same thing.
I know what she's doing.
I've earned this.
Yeah.
Also, like,
okay.
Also, in the scene where she's running towards the house when Freddy is right behind her, she actually cut her foot in that scene. So when you're watching the scene and she's limping, she's legitimately limping and is in legitimate pain. But she like finishes the scene, which I think makes her pretty badass for doing so.
Hell yeah, I love her. And I love her, and I think Dream Warriors is like my absolute favorite. It is the absolute best one.
My
like,
favorite,
hands down.
It's like the one they had the most fun with.
Yeah, well, my favorite part is just like when he's injecting that one girl with all the drugs, and Freddy's just like, oh, what a rush. And I was just like, I do that. I was like, that's how I.
And she's cool in that one too. Like she comes in and she like saves the day, and then obviously, spoiler alert, she dies.
If you haven't watched it,
if you haven't watched it by now, you're not living. Like
I like the Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
See,
because it totally breaks down the entire like fourth wall of it, and that's what I love about it.
Honestly, that one actually had to grow on me. I didn't like it the first time I saw it.
Well, I mean, it's weird at first because you're so used to all the other films.
Well, yeah, I think the reason why I didn't like it as much is because like there wasn't a whole lot of like death in it. So I was just like, I want to see. Well, I know that
not enough people dying.
Yeah, duh. No, but I think it's just to me like when I first saw it, like it was just mostly just because there wasn't as like I felt like there wasn't as much creativity in it because like the whole thing with Freddy was like the creative ways he kills people.
Well, you could argue that it's creative because of the concept of like,
and that's why
that's what I mean. Like,
but I do think
like that's why I said it had to grow on me because like as I got older, like and the more I appreciated horror movies, the more I appreciated that. Like especially like when Wes Craven shows up and he's just like, "Oh, Freddy's real and he's trying to kill you because of like what happened in the first movie." She's like, "It wasn't real." You still gotta do it. Yeah, and like and just like the end, the ending is like probably my favorite out of all of them from New Nightmare, just because like the whole like giant like Freddy turns into like the giant worm thing and starts like, eating the kid.
Oh yeah!
Oh shit!
That's actually probably one of my favorite scenes of him like terrorizing people is when he like is the worm, or if he takes like any new form that's like animalistic away. I don't know. It's like a different type of like goosebumps for me. Like the whole blood coming out of the bed thing is pretty dope, but I just love it when he like transforms.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like that's like the epitome of what a nightmare would be.
And you know what the best line is out of I know you guys know.
Is
when he comes out of the TV.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
that.
Which was totally improvised too. Like he thought of that on the spot. He was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna say this. Because originally
retiring
he was just
as
supposed
the
to pop
character
out and just smash her face into it. And then, like, he was just like, no, I need to say something. He was like, welcome to prime time, bitch.
I got it.
When I met him, I made him say that.
You met him?
Yeah, he was at the Walker. God. I was working at the Walker Stalker convention.
So jealous.
And it was crazy because it was like a Walking Dead convention. And for some reason, they had some of the Nightmare on Elm Street people there. So nobody cared about Nightmare on Elm Street. They were all like, what? Walking Dead. So, like, the line when I went on, like, for my free day on Sunday when I wasn't working. Like, his line was so short, so he talked to everybody for, like, 10 minutes.
Really?
He was, like, the nicest guy. And
the Robert England. No, are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah.
I would have.
Are you kidding me? I was like, fuck you, Rick, I'm a Freddy fan.
I don't even like The Walking Dead that much. I'm all here for Nightmare on Elm Street.
I like
the show.
The comics are
I'm aware of what I'm watching. I know what the show's about.
I actually appreciate the show more since I read the comics.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically the reason why. And stuff like that, but...
I actually like Walking Dead more than Game of Thrones, if we're talking about content. Because I only like Game of Thrones for the gore. Other than that, it comes off as like a really just dramatic...
It's kind of Lord of the Rings ripoff, in a way.
I like
Speaking of which, Amazon has the rights to the Lord of the Rings trilogy now. They're actually going to make episodes.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, no, I think it's amazing, because remember how there was so much controversy about the films being released, re-released, and re-released because they didn't have enough content from the books?
They were always more extended and extended and extended.
They can now actually put it in episodic form and put in more content now.
As long as they do the Battle of the Shire, I'll be fine. That's all that needs to happen, is the Battle of the Shire at the end.
I just want to see Sam kill more things. He doesn't get as much credit as he should.
No, well, Sam's the real hero of the entire thing.
Yeah,
that's what people don't
understand. He
gets overshadowed. Frodo. Fuck Frodo.
He killed a giant spider.
I know. He kills the giant spider.
No.
He tells Frodo to suck his shit up and march up that goddamn mountain.
He kills an orc.
Yeah, it's like Frodo's just sitting there like, no, this is my ring. It's like, fuck you. Get up there.
I want to go home. I am so tired.
Lady Galadriel's the most badass. Or Eowyn.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just love... And
Legolas is basically a girl anyway.
No, so. He's not. Don't talk about my other husband that way.
I mean, he has pretty hair.
Yeah. Pretty hair.
He's got a pretty mouth.
He's got a pretty mouth there, boy. Squeal like a pig.
So then what do you think is still a negative stereotype for women in horror?
I think that, like, in general in life, in movies and everything, there's always going to be the sort of, for the most part, the overall, that women kind of need to be saved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, we moved away from that in the horror genre, but it's still there.
Well, I mean, I guess, what do you count as them being saved? Like,
well, there's always a love story. There always has to be
right.
a man involved.
Yeah.
And it's like, not everything is about a love story. 9 times out of 10, you're fucking lonely. And the rest, like, I just...
Are you?
So I'm trying to think. There's just always some sort of, like, man involved.
So, like, it's when the man is there, she always relies on him. But if the man is there, if she can rely on him. Is that, like, a difference? Or does that make sense? I feel like that's...
I would rather just see more of, like, no men.
Just no men.
Just no men in there.
Let's just get all women... all horror, all the time.
And I just think that's kind of an overall, like, theme still in all genres, but horror still. That there's always sort of the love story with the man, and we haven't moved far enough away from that yet.
Do you feel like, though, there's more... Do you agree with our statement saying that there's more strong females in horror than there is, every other genre? Do you feel like there's more than sci-fi and fantasy?
No.
No?
But I kind of, in my head, like... horror, sci-fi, fantasy, like, obviously they're way different genres, but they all kind of...
mold together.
Yeah. Because it's hard to say, like, well, this movie is specifically sci-fi when there's a ton of horror aspects. And
like Aliens.
Like Alien.
Yeah.
Or, like, even some Lord of the Rings in some way, like the Uruk-hai are pretty freaking...
Or, like, the spider fight that we were saying, like, oh my god, I almost shit myself when the giant spider came out of nowhere as, like, a little kid. I'm like, oh my god, Frodo, no!
What is that? So I think that's, like, obviously Lord of the Rings is fantasy, but it's got horror aspects to it.
Yeah.
So I think the three are kind of usually somewhat together.
You also brought up, when I asked you... over Facebook Messenger, you brought up Elvira, which I was really happy because no one I interviewed brought up Elvira as being a strong female role.
Oh my god!
So, would you be willing to touch on that? Why she is to you?
I think that she's one of the most badass, like, and it might not be considered horror because it's sort of campy, like her movies at least. Mm-hmm. But I mean, she's so confident, and yeah, she's one that she's got the big old boobs and the perfect body, and she's gorgeous, but she works it so hard.
She has the attitude. She has the attitude to back it up. And
she doesn't take shit from anybody. And, like, the guys that are, like, come up to her and are all sleazy, and she's like, hey, excuse me.
Like, even though she has them.
Show.
Even though she has them and can use them, she doesn't rely on them.
Yeah. Like, there's so much more to her than that. And even, it's so silly, but in the movie when the villain comes out and is trying to steal her, I forget exactly how it goes, but with the ring, and she comes out and she just doesn't, I mean, she makes booby jokes, and they're great.
Yeah,
but
well, no, it's...
her boobs bust open the gate, but
I don't know if this is going to be, like, a controversial statement, but I would say that she makes it so that it's okay to be comfortable with your body.
Oh, definitely.
To be comfortable with, like, the sex appeal that you have, because I know some women... have to fight a constant, like, criticism that when they dress in a certain way are considered, whorish or slutty. Mm-hmm. When it's not the case. They are proud of who they are, and they like to flaunt it.
Which is, I think, it's, like, good for them. Like, whatever puts the cheese on your cracker. And most of the time, the people that are, like, coming at you with, like, the whore and the slut and all that are people that are super insecure with themselves.
Well,
or hate their own... their own bodies.
No, I agree, and it's the same for guys because I mean we like to flaunt. I can't tell you how many times I've come back from the gym and I'm just like. When I pick up something, just like, twist my arm.
Yeah, look at that. Actually, see my tricep muscle? Yeah, I did that.
Do you want some help with this?
Have you seen my beach ball? I think it went that way.
But like guys don't get in trouble.
No, and that's what I'm getting at is that guys are more celebrated for their physique, more than women are. Like if you show off anything, then you're considered less, I don't want to say important, but like your input is less.
People downplay your brain.
Exactly.
It's like if you have your boobs out, you could still be really freaking smart.
Well, and that's not saying that you have to flaunt your sexuality, but it's okay to do it. And you shouldn't be, ostracized or, put on a witch hunt because of it.
And like different things empower different people. Like some people maybe modesty and like being extremely modest, if that's what empowers you as a woman.
Yeah.
Do it. That's awesome. But if your sexuality and, wearing, I guess, risque type clothing or whatever is what empowers you, then do it. I don't see, like, why it should matter.
Well, and that's what is great about Elvira because she completely embodies that.
Oh, yeah.
She embodies just...
Yes, she does.
She is one gorgeous woman.
She was also one of my, first crushes growing up.
Mine was Morticia.
Oh, I love Morticia.
I love Morticia. And especially all the pictures came up last year or 2 years ago. Wednesday Addams dressing as Morticia. I was like, why has this not become a thing yet? Like she'd be so great as Morticia.
It needs to happen. It'd be so exciting.
Yeah. No, I always liked her mostly because I loved her even though it was the romance between her and Gomez. Holy crap, she was super strong and independent also. She's these are my kids, I'm raising them how I want. Gomez is gonna help me out and everything, but no, and she always empowered her kids too. That's what I always liked about her. That's why I was like, I love you. Because she was she'd tell her kids, are you gonna do that? Yeah, well you be safe. If you get hurt, it's your fault. You understand that. But I'm still gonna give you some TLC.
I was so jealous of Gomez.
I know, me too.
He was the coolest dude ever.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to just walk and talk like him and dance like him.
I was always a Wednesday girl. Half wide, dyed my hair black. I make a good Wednesday.
I would have thought your natural hair is black.
No, I'm blonde.
Oh, fool me.
What?
I'm probably slightly darker than
this isn't what we signed up for rating this episode now.
Done. Flip the table.
Who are you?
I wish it would grow in black. I've been dyeing it for 11 years.
All natural.
Bitch.
I thank my mom for giving me the genes to have black hair.
I like my curly blonde hair, so y'all black-haired people can...
You got some nice Danny Rand hair.
You dyed your hair black at one point, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit. Yeah, that's right.
Because I was being Hitler for history.
No!
I'm dead serious. It was AP European History, and we had to pick someone from European history. It was time back all the way to the beginning of the episode.
Well, I think we won everybody back over now. No.
Okay, so the main reason why I picked Hitler is I was like, no one's going to pick this guy, and there's a bunch of facts about him that no one knows about. What was his name?
He wasn't actually German. He was Indonesian.
No,
this is not an empowering Hitler.
No,
podcast.
I'm just saying
this is empowering women.
I can't remember his name, but the guy who actually got him into politics and everything knew Hitler had a brain disease and everything. What the fuck was his brain disease? He had syphilis, and so his brain was dying and stuff like that. No, not syphilis.
Because it's an STD.
Well, it was an STD, but then
was it Jew-hate-itis?
Probably. No, but that's what got him to become empowered and stuff like that. But Hitler was also just a really good speaker. But also the fact, fun fact about him, he wasn't the best strategist. So
horrible.
No, he was legitimately just a voice and a face and just a piece of shit. And he had the ideas, especially for the Holocaust and stuff like that. So fuck him. But I dyed my hair black for all that, and I was don't get me wrong, I was walking through the halls and I'm a little ashamed of this because we had to dress as our person for extra credit. And so, but I wasn't allowed. I didn't put the mustache or the armband on and everything. And so I was telling everyone I was a jockey. I'm I'm an African jockey, yeah. And so one of my theater teacher who was Jewish and bipolar, She was like, "Oh my God, Cody, who are you today?" And I was like, and my buddy Bo just comes up here and he's like, "He's a jockey. He's a jockey. He's a jockey." And I was just like, "I'm a jockey." And she's like, "Oh, you look great." I was like, "Oh my God."
I'm going to hell.
I'm like, I'm so glad AP European History is my third class today, and then I can take all this shit off.
Good
And then luckily
Creek.
I dyed my hair black again so I could be Mario for Halloween.
Much better.
So much better.
You want to know something really fucking funny?
Huh.
My mic's not even plugged in. Hey, you know what? Don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's been picking up the audio just fine. So we're okay.
Like, now we're going to have to do it. You know what? Now podcast is over.
We're okay.
It's
We're
over.
okay. We don't have to redo any of that.
Okay,
But
I was like, oh Lord.
I'll plug it in for the next episode. I was just like, wait a minute.
Something's not right.
Oh.
It looks all official with like the mic stand.
I know, right? Like, until I said
We
something.
look really cool.
I shouldn't have said anything. So we'll move on to our the interviews that we went through, and we love your input on it.
Definitely.
You know? So, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can't pull it up because we're using my phone to record, so I can't pull up my stuff. Good thing I sent you there.
I know, I guess I'll just read them all off. So, like I said, if yours isn't said in this episode, don't take offense to it. We went through with who we can. I think I'm gonna not say one person's name because she never replied back.
Fair enough.
But I'll still use her story. So first one is from our friend Sam. The movie that spoke out to her the most was Evil Dead, the 2014 reboot, and she really connected with the drug addicted perspective of it and rising above addiction and your demons that are in your closet. Also, and that she likes that it's okay to not always be a strong female all the time, to not have to hold up that illusion that you're strong all the time, but you can rise to strength when the situation requires it, i.e. when she has to cut off her hand.
Oh God.
Yeah. Or when she has to rip her arm out from under the truck.
Oh.
But she correlates to her with the relationship between her and her husband, who, because he's in the Navy and he's overseas a lot, she is so used to being strong for him and being that strong female for him, but there's a lot of times where she just wants to give up, but she doesn't because she keeps rising to that circumstance. So that was one of the shortest ones. Do you guys just want me to read all of them off or say anything about each one?
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't even really, for some reason, when I was thinking about this question, that didn't pop into my head, but she is a total badass in that movie.
Well, the thing I liked about it too is there wasn't a love story. It was her brother.
Yeah.
It was a family. And
yeah.
That's the thing I liked about it is family sticking out for each other. Which
Bruce Campbell was actually really against the movie at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, until he knew that they were going to rewrite the character, he wasn't for it. So, funny enough.
But
I love him.
And then it was really cool in the end. And the cool thing about at the end is her brother just died, and that could have devastated her, but instead empowered her more to I'm gonna fucking kill this demon.
She becomes the most metal person ever.
Rip your arm off, stick a goddamn chainsaw on there
with literal raining blood.
Eat this motherfucker.
And this next one, I'm not gonna say her name because she never got back to me, but the movie that she picked was Come Back to Me, which is, I'll give a little synopsis about it because
I've seen it on Netflix, but I've never watched it.
It's new. Not a lot of people have seen it yet. But basically it's about two couple, Sarah and Josh, who are married suburbanites. After a car accident, Sarah suffers blackouts. And as her life spirals out of control, she hides a camera in her room and unlocks a horrific secret with far-reaching consequences. That's just the synopsis of it. But she likes the movie because the movie is about Sarah being stalked by their neighbor. And so that's the thing that she finds out in the movie, is that it's her neighbor stalking her. And I'm not giving anything away because that's in the literal trailer of the movie. And so
Come Back to Me. I need to see this.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good. But yeah, she likes
unnamed person.
But yeah, this unnamed person likes it because she was once stalked to a point where she was scared for her own safety. And, she was stalked by this guy so much that she was afraid even to to, talk to him because she doesn't know how he was going to react because he was, blown up on her a couple times. She gave me a lot more detail in that, but because she never responded, I don't know how much I can give away, and I don't really want to put us in the red because of that. But in this movie, this character learns how to outsmart her, the guy, the villain of the movie, and so did this person, the person who this relates to. And so that's why it means a lot to her. But she also likes it because it raises awareness for how dangerous stalking can be. Because some people play it off as just like a cute high school crush thing.
And nothing
it just
can be
means
done
he
about
likes
it.
you.
Yeah.
Half the time, nothing gets done until the person's either dead or seriously injured.
Well, and from what she's saying is like this movie gives a good informative quality to it about like why stalking it should be taken more serious.
That's awesome.
And so that's why she hates it. But the thing that she hates about the horror genre with women is that she hates how that sometimes women aren't portrayed as critical thinkers. And the example she gave was The Haunting in Connecticut, where the aunt wouldn't listen to her intuition, which I couldn't remember the aunt, so I'm assuming she was talking about, like, the mom?
I can't remember the aunt either, because I've seen that movie.
Yeah, because I feel like
I've seen both interpretations of it, and I can't remember the aunt.
Yeah, so I'm thinking she was talking about the mom.
Maybe.
So,
Could be. Cause yeah, it was like, because I'm fairly certain it was the mom, not the aunt.
But either way, I think...
Unless she meant the sister.
The critical thinking, plenty of women aren't critical thinkers.
But I think
plenty of men aren't either.
Shoot it till it dies.
Yes, and they never do. No, one bullet, it's done.
We're good.
I can turn my back now.
I shot him in the kneecap. He has to be dead.
Oh, this thing with multiple heads. Don't need to cut them off. It's cool.
Yeah. Nah.
And this one, which one out of all the women I've interviewed, I felt was the most deep. Hers is American Horror Story. She likes how raw it is and how it can even be unpredictable. Her specific season that she likes is Freak Show, which is also my favorite season.
I still haven't finished it. It's really good, but I still haven't finished it.
I made it through 3.
I stuck for that one, and then I haven't watched any other ones.
I like Asylum. It's so good.
I like Murder House.
But she felt very connected to the character that was the conjoined twin in Freak Show.
Yeah.
Because that character had a very overpowering mother, and that character felt like a freak all the time, that she didn't belong, and she was learning to escape an abusive environment to find a happy ending and searching for a family she never had, which Destiny, who's a good friend of mine, had a lot of similar experiences in her life. And, that's how we even met. One day it was just her literally hanging out by like, what is it? Like Schaefer Park, where those football fields are.
Yeah.
Not football, baseball. It's the same thing.
Sports ball.
Sports ball.
But yeah, like that's how I met her, and she really connected to this character because it was because for the longest time she felt like she was the only person that ever had these experiences. I mean, obviously not, but
you always feel that
when you go through that much, you feel like you are. But she felt comfort in the connection that she had with this character, which I think is amazing because it shows that horror isn't just guts and gore and let's offend you and make you have nightmares. It has a legitimate, soul to it that connects people.
Yeah.
It definitely can.
And then Cody's, which I'm going to try to read as best I can because one of them is a little rough to read.
Like you, Cody, or?
No, the 2 girls I interviewed.
Yeah, I just have it under as Cody's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because he owns them. No.
Sexist! They're lying.
Do
they don't want
laundry?
to women.
Yeah. Why haven't you done my laundry yet?
They gave permission to use both their names? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first one is Marcia. Her favorite
Marcia.
Is it?
Marcia. It's pronounced Marcia.
Wow.
Marcia.
She's whiter than I am.
All right, whatever.
I love you, Marcia. Don't take offense to that.
Her favorite movie is Silence of the Lambs. She loves that movie because the what's her name?
Jodie Foster.
Thank you. I was gonna say Noelle.
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 I don't remember her name in the movie, but she's Jodie
Clarice.
Foster. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice. How do you forget Clarice's name?
But
Clarice. That's everyone's excuse.
She loves Clarice because she's a smart. She is a smart and has a way with him. I'm writing it down how it was said to me. So this is how it
Whatever. Just go.
I'm just going to say she's a smart woman and has a way with Hannibal. She isn't easily scared and can fend for herself. And she thinks that a lot of horror movies feature women who are slutty or just plain stupid. Not all of them, but some. The examples that she gave for that was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Granted, it is a farce that they're capitalizing.
It's a joke, right?
Yeah, that they're capitalizing on tropes of horror. House of Wax, Halloween. At least the first 3 of these movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She feels like all those movies portray how women.
Halloween.
Yeah,
I could see
that's why
the remake.
That's what
Lee Curtis isn't
the remake.
The remake.
The remake. She could be talking about the remake because
that's what I was thinking.
Sherry Moon. Oh, Sherry Moon Zombie, but that's like part of.
That's her character, but not mostly not the main girl, but her best friend, like the cop's daughter.
Well, we all have a slutty best friend.
I know, but like that's what it's portrayed.
I'm everybody's slutty best friend.
I'm everybody's slutty best friend.
You're married.
You don't count. I'm the slutty best friend.
I used to be. I passed on the torch.
Whatever. I've always been a slutty best friend.
You have self-esteem issues and find comfort in that through other people.
That's how Troy is. Troy used to be the slut. He lives through me.
Giggity? I think.
No, but that's interesting. I wouldn't have even ever thought of the remake as like.
Well, also I guess
I do remember her screaming a lot and just, oh God, he's chasing me.
Well, also like because she lists off a lot of like the old time horror movies, and so all the old time horror movies had that like Christian thing is like you have sex, you die. So it's like there's always that portrayal is like, well, if you're a slut, you go into hell because like this demon's gonna kill you.
But that was sort of the times too.
Yeah.
So then could you say the way to kill Jason and Michael Myers was to have sex with them?
No, it's to not have sex at all.
But if that's the rule though.
But no, the rule is that you have to stay the virgin, then you all of a sudden have the godly power to kill this monster.
But say like you gave Jason a hand job.
It's always the virgin, isn't it?
It's always the virgin.
It's always the virgin. God, I would have been dead so long.
Me?
But say like you gave like Jason a hand job, right? And he like chills out afterwards. He's like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry that I killed you and like all your friends." Join in.
I was just getting really jealous.
Like, I was drowned as a kid. Like it's a long story.
While the people were having sex, so I was like, "If
is
that's
this cool?
So much fun
for
them to let me die, like I just wanted to try it once."
And some of the women in those ones are a little
right.
The remake.
Well, and then Cody asked Marcia about if she feels like, there is stronger female roles in horror. And she said, I never really thought about it. However, I like strong female roles that are prevalent. God. I've never really thought about it. However, I like strong female roles and think they are prevalent in other genres as well as horror. Rom-com, comedy, sci-fi, drama. They all have a wide range of strong female characters. Action is the only one that doesn't represent them well, but I feel like that's improved within the last 5 to 10 years.
Marcia, we have to disagree on a lot of things. I'm sure you're awesome. And I know it's Marcia, but you're now Marcia.
You're now Marcia because Matt can't pronounce things.
Marcia. Did I say Marcia?
You said Marcia. At the very beginning, you're like Marcia. And I was like, it's Marcia. You're like, really?
What?
Spell it as Marcia and I'll say it as Marcia.
That's how it's spelled.
No, it's not.
That's how Marcia is spelled.
I see Marcia. Ole.
See, I think even action movies, though, the first thing that comes to mind is, not all action movies, but what is that, Underworld?
A good chunk of them. Yeah, but Underworld would be considered fantasy horror.
Yeah.
Not really action.
There's a lot of action in that. But
okay.
Oh, no,
yeah,
there's
think action, when
Die Hard.
You think Die Hard, something that's not taking place in a fantasy setting, that's what action movie generally is.
Okay.
We just need an Expendables with women, with, Oprah leading the team.
What about Fast and the Furious? I haven't seen those, but aren't there women in there?
Yeah, but there's
it's
only
all about the bromance between Vin Diesel and now dead Paul Walker.
Oh, okay. I have no interest in seeing any of these, but so maybe I'll agree with you, Marcia.
It's mindless fun entertainment, really.
Yeah, basically.
And then so Virginia's, I had to shorten hers down a lot.
I love you, Mom.
Okay.
Oh, is this your?
No, it's not. She's like my other mom.
Okay.
But fun fact, my mom's name is Virginia.
Different Virginia.
So, she likes Shauna McDonald in the movie The Descent, which is the movie she picked. She likes a good caving movie, but the ending was very odd. Her other favorite is Poltergeist with Zelda Rubinstein.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
There's houses
as
Tangina.
Yeah, as Tangina Barons. She is a strong woman and talented artist who is expected to be sexy. I thought I said Barons wrong, and so I looked at you. I was like, "Give me a good look. Did I do it right? Do I got to go back?" But she likes her because she uses her brain and isn't expected to be sexy as a strong female role.
The original, Lollipop Guild. She was one of the original Lollipop Guild.
Oh shit!
This house is clean, lady.
That's funny.
Tangina.
Yeah, she's a Lollipop.
I didn't know that. But she really likes the female roles that are not expected to act or dress sexy to get attention or respect in order to be heard. They are confident and competent like the females in The Walking Dead. 2.
Except for Andrea. They ruined her so bad in the show.
And what is it, Carl's mom?
Lori?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lori was like that in the comics, though.
Still, though.
I know.
You got one kid.
2.
Yeah.
Even though the baby dies horribly in the comic.
Yeah, anyway.
Horribly.
Anyways, and then she went on to say that she still feels that there's a gender bias in horror in acting and thinking, just look at the wardrobe. That is literally what she wrote. So, I'm thinking what she's saying is, in horror, in acting, and thinking, just look at the wardrobe. And she's talking about, like, how, I was
going to say, definitely, so she picked up The Walking Dead, so you have to think, like, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's all it was like, I'm a skank, but I can still kick your ass.
Well, she went on to say, like, the big man still comforts the distraught, sexy female with boobs hanging out and butt cheeks exposed, no matter what the weather is that day.
That's like my favorite line out of her whole thing.
The thought and action of a man needs to protect a woman has gotten better, but it's still out there that females still need to be taken care of. Also, watch who does most of the cooking and child handling in these movies. It's females, which that was a weird thing.
But it's true. Okay, so
because I've never really thought about it. I was like, where? I mean,
like when I read that, I was like, at first I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, like think of anything that has to do with the house, the haunted house, like the Poltergeist, the remake of the Poltergeist, Insidious. I do too. The mom in Insidious, she's always kind of like the caretaker of the house and stuff like that. And you don't
but that's just their situation.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like whenever she's getting at with that whole part,
it's never stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, it's never stay-at-home
dad. Okay,
it's always a stay-at-home mom, or like even though the mom has a job, she's always the one seen cooking and stuff like that. So like she's still going to like the gender biased roles. Like is what she's doing at.
That makes more sense. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right. But it gives the impression that females are weak. And then she finished off saying, do I see more strong female roles in the horror genre more than other mediums? No. But overall, I think the industry is slowly changing to meet a need they are slowly recognizing. So, do you mind?
Do you mind, Mercedes?
Well, I guess it would be interesting to know from her what other genre where they show stronger women. Because I can't think of one where a woman really has to rise up and like... Maybe Jennifer Lopez and Enough. She was pretty cool in that.
Yeah. My mom watched that one
so
ritually.
Bad though. They do it so bad.
But I can't like rom-com, any sort of comedy. You can argue that maybe there's like independent females, but there's no real test of like, my whole family's been slaughtered. Just like, this demon.
With the independent, like just going off of that, like the independent females in the rom-coms and stuff like that are always the ones that are like, I'm going to die alone, so I'm going to be independent, and they die alone in the movie basically, because like they never find their guy because it's like, oh no, we need to portray like Jessica Alba over here. She's the main star, blah blah blah. She has to get the guy, not her best friend,
not her slightly less attractive best friend.
Yeah, who has a full-time job, and can take care of herself and everything, like, yeah.
Hi, Snorty.
So I mean, not to take away from what we're talking about, we're almost at the full hour mark. Do we want to keep going, or because we haven't got to the stories this week? Every week, our Monday episodes, we share stories that people send in to us, whether it's paranormal, close calls, basically anything that sounds like it would come out of a horror movie. We want to hear about it, and we want to read it and talk about it. We can go over.
2 stories.
We can go over.
Yeah.
So, I guess let's finish off on what we were talking about. It definitely seems like it's still like a divisive state of whether females are strong in the horror community. I disagree. I still feel like you see way more strong female characters and portrayals, and a variety of them in the horror genre as compared to other genres. Not saying that sci-fi and like fantasy doesn't have them, but with horror, I can think of more strong females that are, whether they're indie or famous, than I can.
Well, even because I always saw like strong female horrors like prevalent in horror, like always. I mean, like even TV show. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like even back in the day, like when it was still like men are the stronger, blah blah blah, and all the movies and stuff like that. Like horror was like, we got strong females. Hello.
Well, and I've seen more horror movies where my favorite ones have been with female leads and have been more male. Yeah, the only one I can think of is the Evil Dead series because I love Ash.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But other than that, like I can't think of any other,
whereas like the man's like the main protagonist and stuff like that.
And that's what I mean. I can think of more that are, strong female protagonists or influence in the movies than men.
Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, in my opinion, most of the times when I see like the men as the strong characters, stuff like that in horror movies, it's always a military guy or a special forces person. Like the ones that I can think of right now is like Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a military guy. He's taking on this giant evil alien.
I didn't even think about that. They mentioned it.
Get to the chopper! Do it now!
This could even be a whole other topic about like men in horror and how like they're portrayed a certain way.
Yeah, and like most of the time, they're usually like this big buff like special forces guy. Like the only one that I can actually think of where the guy like is kind of strong and isn't like that is Insidious, the dad. Like, he's a house dad.
Yeah.
And it's Lin Shaye comes in and saves the day there, so...
Mm-hmm. But then, like, if you think of The Purge, like the first one...
I haven't seen the first one. I've only seen the third one.
Oh. The first one is fantastic.
I don't know if I want to give it away then, because it's...
Yeah, I really do want to see it.
Basically, like, the dad is the hero in it, and he's a security salesman, so he's a salesperson. Like, he's not... He doesn't have... Yeah, he's just rich, average Joe type guy. Super rich. But that's the whole kind of like concept of the first one. Like he's a dad, like he's a family man. He doesn't have any special training and everything.
Which I feel like Ethan Hawke's best movies are horror movies.
They are.
I love Ethan.
Or like
Darksiders.
Not Darksiders.
Oh, is that we're gonna talk about Darksiders?
It's not called Darksiders. You're talking about
Daybreakers.
Daybreakers.
Yeah,
sorry.
So good.
Sorry.
I haven't seen it since that was in theaters. That was a long time ago, but I remember.
I remember like freaking the fuck out in that last scene where all the vampires are like tearing each other apart. I was just
we all saw that. The whole audience was quiet, and you just hear me and Cody just unanimously go, shit!
Yeah, like at the very end, because like it was just dead quiet. Like the music's going, you just see bodies flying everywhere, and then it goes to like real time, and like the vampires that just ate the people turn into humans, and then like the new vampires come up and like they tear them apart in slow mo, and now just what the god damn!
It was so nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can still do two stories. Do you want to share one, Eryn?
Oh Lord!
And then
do someone else first. So I can try and think of.
No,
we can do
you first.
We can do the one my mom sent.
Yeah, let's do your mom's.
So my mom, she grew up on a farm in Pueblo, with and we're like old country Hispanics, so there's a lot of cultural influence, a lot of suspicions of paranormal like happenings. Like cultural wise, and so she sent in this one saying, and this is from her perspective. My mom told me this story several times throughout the years of my life. She believed in signs of what to come, animal signs in particular. Like animals get frisky when the weather is going to change, but the belief in seeing an owl during the day meant that death would come to the person who viewed that owl, which seems pretty creepy, but nevertheless was her belief. She told me that of her young pregnant sister-in-law that witnessed an owl 3 days in succession. On the 5th day, her sister-in-law died in childbirth.
Oh Lord, the owls are not what they seem.
Ooh, death. Ooh.
Yeah. So, which the only thing I can relate to that is the movie with Mila Jovovich about aliens. The Fourth Kind. That's it. The Fourth Kind.
Or Twin Peaks.
That's a good point. I never thought about Twin Peaks. I just remember from The Fourth Kind where, like, the owl comes at night and, like, all of a sudden they get, like, sexually molested by aliens or something. And so that's why I was just like, oh, God.
Just like, because she said something about Twin Peaks, so I'm playing The Evil Within 2, and there's an entire section where you walk through the red room with the tiles and everything, and there's a chair just like randomly, like it's set up just like that, and then like 2 seconds later it just makes you like shit your pants when this demon comes out of a window and stuff like that. But I was just like walking through this, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I saw the room, I was like, shit's gonna get real. There's like all Twin Peaks and stuff, like shit, what's gonna happen? And it even delves more into it because like I said before, the demon comes out, you walk in his room, there's this giant mirror, so like when he's looking in the mirror and everything, and you see yourself, you turn around, then you turn back and he has a picture, and then like, instead of him like smashing his face in the wall and then his doppelganger like taking over, like instead the doppelganger, this Asian chick that walks behind you in the mirror comes out, and it's just this giant demon. I was just like, fuck this shit, like I literally like threw my controller, my roommate was just screaming, and he was like, what are you screaming about? And I told him, he's like, yeah, I screamed about that last night when I was playing too.
Me too.
Which that would be, like, obviously not today, but talking about David Lynch in horror and how he portrays women, which is super interesting.
Yeah.
I love David Lynch.
Yeah.
I'm, like, covered in Twin Peaks tattoos, so.
I knew you were talking about David Lynch, but for, like, a quick second there, I thought we were talking about Cronenberg. I was like, I don't get it, but all right.
We'll go with it.
Do you have a story you want to share? Maybe from like one of your episodes that you can share or something?
There's a spooky ghost behind me now.
Yeah, there's a ghost.
That's my daughter knocking on the door.
No, I mean, growing up, one thing that I didn't talk about on the TV show I'm going to be on, because they were really super interesting. Yeah, I can't talk about it, but...
So you're just like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal, but it's whatever.
They're gonna make me look. We'll see. We'll see how it's gonna go. But I remember there was one instance when I was little, and this isn't really like scary, but I was at. No, I'm not gonna tell that one. I'm trying to think of one. Okay, here's one.
First, you tease a TV show.
now you tease us one story, and you're like, nah, you know what?
Well, no, I was gonna say because I talked about a lot of the stuff on the TV show. And I don't know if I can talk about, like, what happened to me when I was little. Okay, here we go.
It's your call. You're welcome to talk about whatever.
Not that long ago, when I moved, like, because my mom and I live together now, and both of us have, like, crazy, like, the two of us together just, like, attract crazy shit. And I was laying in bed one night, and I was watching South Park, because I can't go to sleep unless I'm watching, like, South Park or Family Guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my closet door just, like, opened, and the light turned on, like, while I'm laying, like... Nobody's in there with me. That was creepy. And I kind of just chalked it up to like, oh, I left the light on and the door somehow open. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing.
It was the wind.
It was the wind that isn't in this room. And so I shut the door and went back to sleep. And then the next night, I was laying there and I was not even thinking about being scared, trying not to. And I felt like a little like scratch on my back, like a light scratch.
Snap.
And I'm like, okay, it's just my hair. It's just my hair.
Of course.
Just my hair. And then it was the first like audio I've ever heard with my own ears, and something whispered right into my ear and was like, excuse me. But it was like whisper. But you know how someone whispers like really close, how it like tickles?
Yeah.
I felt it and everything. I felt the air. And I just like shot up and I'm like, all right, what the fuck? I'm done.
Like, nope, I'm out.
And that stuff does happen to me like all the time. That was the most intense in recent years because like to feel it and hear it, I was like, oh.
Snap.
Where's my cats?
Where are my cats?
Yeah.
Come here, meow here.
So that brings us to the 1 hour 10-minute mark. So,
awesome.
Well, 9.5, I guess.
9.5. And we're not Mercedes cue for
and cut.
So Eryn, this has been tons of fun. You're going to be on episode 4 talking about some movies with us, and if it sounds right, I think you're going to be on some future episodes as well.
Hell yeah!
Awesome.
Yeah, we don't have anything planned just yet, but we'll definitely let everyone know what episodes those are going to be that we think you're going to...
I love talking about horror and all that good stuff, so...
Do you want to talk about snuff films with us?
Snuff films?
That would be awesome.
Sweet. There we go.
All right.
I need to watch some because I'm not like super Just give me a list. I'll watch them and I'll come talk about them.
I mean, like the Human Centipede's a good one, of course. Yeah. Hostel.
We're probably just gonna.
I
don't want to give away the details on this episode. We'll let everyone know what we're gonna do with the snuff films. But
and those are just like the light ones. We're gonna like talk about more of the more
like a Serbian film.
Fuck. I want to watch that, but I don't want to watch it alone.
We can. Let's have a movie.
Yeah. We'll just have buckets to vomit in just in case.
Perfect.
That shit gets fucked.
So before we head out, where can people find you and Code 3 Paranormal?
One more time.
One more time. Yeah, add us on Facebook. Add me on Facebook. And then follow Code 3 Paranormal on YouTube, Instagram. We're everywhere. We will find you.
Except Twitter.
Except for Twitter, because fuck Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know, like that tweet bullshit. Tweet.
I don't know.
140 characters, my ass.
In a way, I kind of like Twitter because it's less invasive like Facebook is.
I like 141 characters.
Yeah. What about, Eryn McGarry on Facebook?
Yep, and it's ERYN. I'm not... one of the, like...
Weird. She's punk rock about it.
Yeah.
Super punk rock.
She's not a conformist without her name.
Not a conformist.
Right. Everybody.
Yeah. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Check out our website. It's all Punk Rock Horror Podcast.
And if you have stories you want us to read and talk about, maybe research a little bit, please send us your stories at punkrockhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find that on our website, punkrockhorrorpodcast.com. Rate, review, subscribe, send us some love. We love hearing from you guys. And if you have any opinions on this issue, we might just read them in the next episode, which will be like episode 6 or 7. Yeah. Since these are all coming out all at once. And again, Eryn's with Code 3 Paranormal. Check them out. They're really awesome, and we're really excited to see what they have planned for the future. All right. Bye.
Bye.